I'm Cher, the Shadow Walker, and today I'm taking a look at Canada for strange and weird occurrences in animal mutilations across the provinces. Thank you for joining me. Please, if you can, it helps me in the algorithms if you like, share, and subscribe. It's all free, and I greatly appreciate your time. Thank you so much. In Saskatchewan, in the Harford area, on Highway 40, near Blaine Lake region, at 9:15 p.m. on March 23rd, a motorist and two passengers, they saw a silver domed disc-shaped object observed hovering approximately 20 feet above the highway. The object remained motionless for several seconds, reflecting the vehicle's headlights before emitting a low-frequency hum and accelerating horizontally across the open prairie at a speed witnesses described as instantaneous. The driver reported that the vehicle radio experienced heavy static interference while the object was within 50 yards of the vehicle. They reported it to Transport Canada and to the UFOs of Canada. And in Swift Current, a rural ranch in Swift Current, at 8:30 a.m. on March 23rd, two people, a rancher and a private investigator, discovered a heifer with surgical style incisions, including removal of the tongue, one eye, and the reproductive organs. The cut was described as micro-precise with no ragged edges. There was total absence of blood in the carcass or on the ground, and notably, the hide around the neck area was found to have a small cauterized M-shaped incision, a reoccurring abnormality in the prairie mutilation cases that has been currently patterned, and it really has. They see these M shapes all the time. Kind of think maybe if it has pincers on the front of it, like if it's a spider pneumanoid doing this, the pincers are what's making that shape. They reported it to the Saskatchewan Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Protective Services of Saskatchewan. In the Battleford area, wooded perimeter of North Battleford and the Battleford River at 2 a.m., between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. on March 24th, so this morning, four local residents of a rural subdivision, they reported a high-pitched metallic scream that echoed through the river valley. One resident reported that motion sensor lights were triggered multiple times, but nothing was visible on the security cameras except for a blurred mass moving at the edge of the frame. The screaming was described as sounding half human, half machine. This occurred alongside a local RCMP warning regarding unknown substances in the area. Although locals believe the sounds are tied to wendigos or rougarous, specific to the Saskatchewan River system. And they reported it to the Battleford RCMP as a noise complaint and suspicious activity. That's what it's categorized as. They also reported it to the Saskatchewan Cryptid Ledger. Next, we're doing Alberta. In Alberta, in the Drumheller region, over the Badlands, specifically Horse Thief Canyon, at 10:45 on March 22nd, four people, two campers and a local resident driving on North Dinosaur Trail, that's not far from me. A large metallic-looking cylinder was observed hovering silently above the canyon rim. The object did not have wings or visible rotors, but emitted a rhythmic, low-frequency blue pulse that the witness felt in their chest. It remained stationary for 5 minutes before tilting horizontally and accelerating towards the Red Deer River with no audible sonic boom. They reported it to the UFOs Watch of Canada and to the local digital community group. In the Madden area, a private rancher, that's northwest of Calgary, at 7:45 on March 23rd, discovered, so there was three people, the property owner, a neighboring rancher, and a private veterinarian. They found a 5-year-old cow was found dead with surgical removal of its left eye, udder, and reproductive tract. The edges of the wounds were described as cauterized or laser smooth. There was no blood found on the site. Despite the soft spring ground, there were no struggles of marks in the ground, so it hadn't struggled. Typical everything, no human tracks, no animal tracks within a 50-foot radius of the carcass. They reported it to the Alberta RCMP Airdrie Detachment and the Alberta Ministry of Agriculture. In the Kananaskis area, a bipedal shadow. In Mount Lorette, and it's an Eagle Watch site. I haven't been to that one. At 3:30 a.m. on March 24th, two people, overnight wildlife researchers. While monitoring for early spring migrations, researchers heard a series of heavy whoop snap sounds followed by a gut-wrenching growl. Using their thermal imagery, they spotted a large bipedal heat signature estimated at 8 feet tall, moving through the ridgetop timbers at roughly 30 miles. The signature was too large for a grizzly and moved with a gait that witnesses described as distinctively primate-like. They reported it to the Rocky Mountain Eagle Research Foundation and to the Dogman 2026 Alberta, Canada file. We have eagles in this area here that nest that we go and look at, and they're back already, as well as we have some new fawns born. So the deer are delivering early. British Columbia, in the Pitt Lake region, always high strangeness there, north of Port Coquitlam at 10:20 p.m. on March 23rd, 3 people, campers at a remote site near the north end of the lake. Witnesses observed 2 large square-shaped crafts with blinking red and green lights hovering approximately 50 feet over the water surface. The objects were completely silent and appeared to shimmer, making them difficult to track with the naked eye. After 15 minutes, the crafts merged into a single point of light and shot towards the Golden Ears Mountains at an estimated speed of several thousand miles per hour. They reported it to the UFO Site of Canada and the National UFO Reporting Center. In the Cranbrook region of British Columbia, a rural rancher just east of the Kootenays at 7:45 a.m. on March 23rd discovered, so there was 2 people that discovered this, a rancher and a local veterinarian. A young horse was found dead in an undisturbed area of the pasture. The animal was missing its genitals and a small circular patch of skin near the jaw, both removed with surgical precision. No signs of a struggle, no tracks leading to the body, and a complete absence of blood. Local experts noted that the cleanliness of the wounds ruled out natural predators like coyotes and cougars, which typically leave ragged edges and significant blood spray. They reported it to the BC SPCA and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or the RCMP. In the Fraser Valley, a wooded area near Stave Lake and the Missions, at 2:15 a.m. on March 24th, 4 people. Independent reports from 2 different campsites. Campers reported hearing sounds of a child crying coming from deep within the timbers. When they investigated with high-power flashlight, the sound shifted into a high-pitched metallic screech. One witness reported seeing a large bipedal figure, estimated over 8 feet tall, with reflective amber eyes standing behind the cedars. The figure moved with a blur-like speed, covering roughly 100 yards of dense terrain in seconds. These align with other reports in the region. They reported it to the BC Cryptid Sighting Log and the local digital community scanners. The Northwest Territories, Yellowknife, the Yukon, and it says that approximately 20 nautical miles northwest of Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories at 11:10 p.m. on March 23rd and 1 a.m. on March 24th. 6 people, including a commercial airline crew and a ground control staff. A flight crew reported 2 distinct high-altitude lights dancing in a circular pattern. The lights appeared and disappeared intermittently. Air traffic control confirmed there were no aircraft or drones in that sector. The crew described the movement as intelligent and non-ballistic. While intense solar maximum activities is currently causing vivid northern lights, the pilots specified these were point source lights moving independently of aurora bands. They reported it to Aviation Canada, the Yellowknife Tower, and to the Civil Aviation's log reporting system. In the Yukon, in a rural area, Dawson City Regional and the Klondike Valley, Yukon, at 4:45 a.m. on March 23rd, 4 people, early shift workers and a local resident. A large multicolored object was seen streaking across the sky at high altitude. Witnesses described a blue head and orange tail moving slower than typical meteors, but faster than commercial jets. No sonic boom was reported. While some local officers suggest space junk re-entry, the consistent coloring and lack of fragmentation led witnesses to file it as an unidentified aerial phenomena. And they reported it to the RCMP, the Dawson City Detachment, and to the Yukon Astronomical Society. And in the Nanny Valley, a shadow. So it's the Nanny National Park Reserve in the Northwest Territories at approximately 10 a.m. on March 23rd, 2 people. Park staff on a routine aerial patrol remote sensor check. During a sensor recovery, staff discovered a Dall sheep carcass on a high ridge with atypical injuries. The animal was missing its heart and lung, which appeared to have been removed through a single clean edge opening in the chest. There were no blood sprays on the surrounding snow or tracks from predator wolves or bears within 30 yards of the body. And this follows typical mutilations of this kind. They reported it to Parks Canada, the Northwest Territories Division. And in Whitehorse, a metallic screamer. Wooded outskirts of Whitehorse in the Yukon near the Chadburn Lake area. At 2:15 on March 24th, 4 people, residents in a nearby subdivision. What occurred? Residents were awoken to the series of metallic grinding screams coming from the dense brush. One resident reported their outdoor floodlights were triggering and they observed a large dark mass retreating into the trees. The screams were followed by several heavy thuds that vibrated through the ground. No physical evidence was found at daybreak other than several deep impressions distinct in the mud. So they found some footprints. And they reported it to the Whitehorse RCMP as a noise complaint. That's what it's categorized. And that is it. Thank you so much for listening. I greatly appreciate it. If you could please hit the like, share, and subscribe. It's all free. And thank you. Have a wonderful day.